Yorkshire, 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 Yorkshire.
This is the Red Yellow Show of me, Josh Everton, Tom Webster, Alan Smith, and Jane is back. We're here to speak about last night's boxing, as well as a little bit of... We've not spoken about the new transfers who come in, Matthew Craig and Georgie Jens, who came in the other day as well. So a little bit of speak about them. We're going to get these guys' predictions as well, where we're going to finish this season. So let's get into it. So, Jane, you're back after more or less a season off. Apart from your one appearance where Tom decided to not record correctly. So well here, Tom. Good run on that there.
Sorry about that.
Love Tom.
Yeah, but it's great to have you back, Jane. How have you been?
Here, Jane.
It's been a bit of a... Is he a look? RL. Well, it's been a bit of a rough time, but Jane's back. And firing on all cylinders, and what a time for me to come back. Not only at Oakwell, obviously, a place that I love, but also boxing. Love me boxing. You know I do, guys. You've been probably following me for the last 15 months. Love me boxing. So, been a brilliant show to come back to. What an experience last night was. I don't think I could quite put into words the emotions, and that is a lot for me because I can talk. What I experienced last night, what we as a fan base experienced last night, to see Oakwell sporting, doing other sporting events was the first time, like I said to Jack, I said, we're witnessing history here, but to see it with one of our own, it was just another level, Josh. It was another level of, it was like a Wembley final. It meant that much, but at Oakwell, but it was focused around one man, but it was also focused around a different sport within the ground of another sport, which is just the strangest feeling. But it meant so much that everybody just felt sick. And to see him win it, well, it's just a memory that you're just never going to forget. But to see him win it at Oakwell is just something completely different. It was unbelievable. Yeah,
it looked, especially from the clips I've seen online, it sounded like the East End was so loud. And it like almost an atmosphere which I'd never sort of seen at Oakwell, aside from playoff games or when we beat Wednesday 4-2. It was those. Just try and shoe on that into there.
Good lad.
It was unbelievable, Josh. And I'll tell you something, with Jane being sat with me, I'm glad I'm not at ring with her because she can punch at a box. She can't half. She throws every punch. And I'll tell you something, I've got some bruises this morning from our Jane.
Oh, you weren't shadow boxing whilst at Ron, were you, Jane?
I might have been, Josh. I might have been.
It's going to be in Callum Simpson's corner next time.
And that's probably what I'm going to be. I'll be towel lady. I don't know what else.
Tom, just how sort of important is it to the club to, obviously, we've seen sort of over the last year or two, Callum Simpson's been at a lot of games coming out, especially since he won the belt. He's coming to loads of games, and the club have been driving and pushing forward and allowing him that platform to engage with fans, and then now to sort of, it's almost like bring it all together of like, here's this person we've been supporting from the community, pushing him on as much as we can, and now to have him host the very first boxing event at Oakwell, and it's the main fight on the card, and to win, it's just great, isn't it, really?
Absolutely massive. And to be honest with you, sold out East Stand, could have quite easily sold Ponty End out as well. It was, and the atmosphere was unreal, really unreal. East Stand's never made that amount of noise in its life. Just simple as. Yeah, absolutely fantastic to see that everybody in town got behind him.
No, it is. It's certainly good. And like I mentioned, it sounded so loud in there from what it normally does.
Yeah,
almost.
East End turned into Ponty End last night. I'm afraid it were the Ponty End Massive definitely took over the East End last night. I can't explain it. I mean, Tom and Alan will back me up here. I've never experienced that before. It's really strange. It's like we were doing obviously our usual football chants, but we were adding. But it were all about Callum. So he were obviously buzzing off the, red and white army, one of our own, usual. Callum will have been knowing it's for him, but obviously him being a red, it's geeing him up as well. So it's weird, you like singing football songs to a boxer and then putting his own thing in as well. It's like, it's weird. It's two sports in one place, and it all ties in together. It's really strange.
I think
Instead of being football, the 12th man, there were 7,000 there behind him.
Oh, 100%.
That made a difference. Everybody were for Callum. And as I say, for me at 70 to be there and see history making at Oakwell, I can't explain what it's like. It was just buzzing from start to finish.
Yeah, it were.
And the setup was immense. The lighting show, everything about it. As pink wristbands as well. We had to wear them. I had to cut mine off last night when I come in.
I did.
Didn't get back home while about 12:30. But what time we set off? We set off about 4:15.
Yeah.
Right, it was a long night.
Oh, but, worth it.
I'd do it again. I would do it again. And credit to Football Club and Boxer for allowing it to happen. Because, you keep thinking we've got a game on Friday. What's it going to do to the pitch and how's it going to damage it? But it was perfect. And even had a race with Toby Tyke and Boxer mascot. Toby Tyke won. Get in there. I'll post that. You can put that on, Josh. We've got.
Oh, here we go. We have loads of content at the start of this.
I'm going to call a fix on that one.
Shut up, Tommy Ward.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of effort being put in by Boxer mascot.
Hey, to be fair, you give me a great
complaint about Sky is they didn't even know he was called Toby Tyke. They're just going, the Barnsley FC mascot, and I'm thinking, just Toby. It's not that hard. Come on.
They could have called him just a dog.
The dog's one. To be fair, give me a good segue there. How good was Callum's gown that he wore to the ring, Jane? Obviously, just the details, especially when he turned around, he saw Toby's head on the back of his hood as well.
Oh, unreal that. Whoever designed that, top-notch stuff. I mean, I looked at his kit and I was like, oh, wow. It looked fantastic. That were a kit. He must have looked at that and thought, how can you not look at that and it hit you there as a red? How can you not look at your box? I mean, how can you not be so overwhelmed and proud that he's looked at his kit hung up in Oakwell with his name on it, his sponsors, the crest, and Toby Tyke? I mean, it don't get better for him, does it? It don't though. He'll box in stadiums. I mean, if he makes it big time, he'll box all over. But this, it's personal, isn't it? It's personal to him, and it's personal to his family. It's personal to his town. That means more. Anywhere else can be the biggest stadium in the world. It can be full of the biggest fans from all over the world. But nothing means more than home, does it?
And as a youngster as well, thinking about any youngster who's watching this or sees it, your dreams can come true.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about. His dreams from a youngster, following Barnsley, being a boxer and getting into Oakwell, it all come together last night in a big way.
Oh, wow.
I think my only one criticism could have come out to Time Rider.
That'd have been funny. That'd have been good, wouldn't it?
It could have come out to Time Rider.
It comes out to the same song every time. It's his friend, and he was there that night doing. He did it live, didn't he? Yeah. When me and Andy went and spoke to him, he told us that were going to happen, and he wanted the Barnsley choir as well. But unfortunately, they were double booked. And they couldn't make it, and that it was some competition that they'd had planned for like a good year, so that they couldn't abandon it. And to go back to the kit, it was Julianne that designed it
Right.
to be to correspond with the new kits that we've just released. But Callum was saying he didn't even know if it were going to arrive in time. They were still making it
No,
when
that's
we
not
were
like us.
recording. And he was like, I don't know if it's going to get here. He says, I've not got it yet, but I've been told basically what the design was. And he says it's going to be absolutely brilliant as long as it gets here. But obviously it did.
Phenomenal kit, that.
Surprised it
Probably one
weren't,
of the best
weren't
things
the
we've
size
ever
of a
done as a
shoe.
club.
It was good
Nice.
though. That's going to be interesting to
Nice.
see if everyone's behind that gown and going, oh, who designed that?
Dressing gowns will be out for Christmas, Josh. Trust me.
I would have one. I
They'll
100%
be
would
out
have
for
one as a
Christmas.
dressing gown.
Just watch this space. They'll be there.
100% I'd have one.
Honestly, I believe you, but every time you say you know something, opposite happens. Liam Kitchen's staying, Liam Kitchen's gone.
Look, he told me
last
we're doing
night as
no
well.
here. He told me face to face. It would a lie.
He should have. He was there last night. You should have asked him.
Gosh, Gullabal.
That's summit.
You should have had a word with him last night if you listened to him. Whilst it was fantastic, there's still areas to improve though, Tom, isn't there? In terms of hosting an event like that. Like the actual, I think the production of it and looking at it from someone sat at home watching it looked fantastic. It looked so. It just looked so busy, especially for that final. For obviously the main fight of Callum, just how busy it looked in the East Stand. The sound you could hear from the East Stand the entire time. It all sounded great, all looked great, but being there are a little bit of a different story in terms of the logistics and infrastructure behind it.
You're on about the getting a drink or something to eat, aren't you?
I am.
Hospitality wise, well,
yeah.
I got a beer when I first got into the ground, and queue were pretty big then. Went down for another one, and it was basically entire length to East Stand. It was just ridiculous. I think I up and down put that it queued for an hour and a half for a beer.
Is half marathon 129? Is queue for a beer 131?
Yeah,
brilliant.
It was poor. They needed more staff. I don't get why they didn't have bottle bars, or even the Madrid bottom fill pint thing that they have in fan zone. Just have a few of them knocking about and just make it quicker. It wasn't good, and they must have missed out on so much, because I'd have had another 3 or 4 pints probably. I bet I weren't queuing in that. And I can't be the only one. There must have been hundreds and hundreds of people there just thinking, I'm not queuing in this, it's stupid. So they needed that. I think as well, there's reports of people doing naughty things, taking naughty things.
Yeah.
And I think that probably could have been stewarded better. There weren't many stewards around. And people jumping queue as well for beers and food. So again, there needed to be more stewarding, more security. But all in all, great night. And Callum boxed so well. He was fantastic. He commanded ring. He were always on front foot. He was pinning Zach Chelly into corner numerous times. He worked his jab absolutely. He was fantastic. He really was. And Nelson were on about before fight. Is he going to be able to step up? Can he do 12 rounds? Can he do championship rounds? Well, he proved it, didn't he? It was supposed to be his biggest test, and realistically won at a canter. Judges saw
more
it.
in him,
Saw it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, right. He nearly didn't make it past first 3 minutes.
I think it got to him. Crowd got to him.
Oh yeah, I said that. I said this is like, I says he come out absolutely on fire. He was like, it was seeing a guy so completely focused on what he got to do, but so he must have been just pumped with adrenaline. It was like, I said to you, didn't I? And you are, Jack. I just went, you can see that with Callum, you're on my ground now. This is my turf. This is where I live. You're coming to my place and you're going to know about it. These are my people. This is my stuff. Get ready. And you could see that determination in him. It was like, it weren't a duck out of water. It was like, he was so comfortable in his surroundings. It was so geared up. It was just magnificent to watch him box. And it was, the confidence in him were unreal. But the way he landed the shots, the way he commanded the ring, Chile were forever, getting him up ropes. Every time Callum got, we're getting on top of Chile, he were pushing him towards ropes, to break away, to start again. And Callum were proper winding him up. I could see him like tapping, and then spinning, and tapping again. I just thought, he's playing with you. He's so playing with you. And he's just trying to get you to drop your guard, to just land a good one on you. And I can see it.
I thought he got him in third round. It really went for him. I thought he was going to knock him out because
he was going for him from the minute
get go. For me,
was
best round I think.
He was going for him. And, end of. There were only one winner. Only one winner that night. That were him.
I thought it was a really mature performance though, because there were a couple of times, first round and I think probably third, where he did land something, and all crowds going, "Go on, knock him out, knock him out, knock him out." But he was like, "No, I don't want to get caught myself." So it was a really mature performance rather than just throwing punches. And to be fair on him, the crowd could have made him, be a bit silly and throw wild punches, but he didn't. He was really controlled, really mature. It showed a really good boxer that's on the upward trajectory.
And Roof nearly come off Oakwell, didn't it, when he punched that third round, Tom? It nearly lifted off when he caught him.
Definitely. It was an amazing atmosphere, and every time he landed a punch, the crowd just got more and more behind him. It was really, really good.
And so what, first round where, I can't remember if it was first or third, when he more or less got saved by the bell because Callum caught him quite towards the end of the round.
Third.
And he stumbled back and went back twice.
Definitely in first round he caught him and stumbled, and he pounced on him straight away. But there were a couple of rounds where he got caught and his legs buckled a little bit.
Just turned to jelly.
Yeah,
I think you saw that on the undercard. I can't remember who it was. It's McKenna and I can't remember the other lad's name.
That was a match. That
when they both went down at first.
It was Lee, wasn't it? McKenna and Lee.
So.
Yeah, because in first round they both ended up on canvas. That was the exciting fight of the night. It only lasted 3 rounds, and
it was unreal, wasn't it?
It was just a complete and utter brawl. There were windmills everywhere. It was just fantastic to watch the spectators.
Playground stuff, wasn't it? Well, like you're back on school field. You're like, fake.
Every shot trying to take each other's heads off. None of this tactical point scoring. It was like
amazing. Love it. I'm like, go on.
I'm going to send Joel swinging if I can, and we'll see what happens from there. You made a great point there, Tom, of sort of it being a mature performance, and I think that's shown through well. Obviously, when the scores came through and the unanimous decision of sort of how almost the disparity in terms of quality of like how well Callum had performed and the scoring which he got of him controlling the majority of the fight, if not all of it, barring a few sort of closer rounds and things. It seemed, as Tom said there, sort of a very mature performance for someone that's sort of every time he's fighting now, it's always going to be sort of a step up in terms of quality, and then to come and match it and perform in the way in which he did.
Yeah.
It's just great to see, isn't it?
He's raised up to another level, isn't he?
That's
the thing, isn't it?
He's going to get better.
as I say, we're on Sky Boxer, so sky's the limit for now for Callum.
Go on, lad.
I always love your little quips like that, Al. You can just see it
Good,
going a
innit?
mile off as well. Really enjoy it.
See build up for it, can't you?
Yeah. Right. Staying with Barnes, but moving on to the team now. Unless you got something to say then, Tom.
No,
I thought you were jumping somewhere else.
No,
Moving on to
I'm
team,
good.
there's been a couple of signings which we've not spoke about so far. Because obviously we had Gav Sutton on earlier in the week to discuss his. Well, if you've not watched it, spoiler: his 17th position is where he predicts will finish this season. Which, after his article, I understand it. And understand his opinion of why he thinks we'll finish there, but there's still a little bit of work to done. And since then, work has been done in terms of improving the side. And we've signed a left back, left wing back. I think Matthew Craig came in as well just before Gabbard wrote it. So there's no real replacement for Herbie Kane by that point. So we've sort of replaced Callum, replaced Herbie Kane now in those two positions. Al, in terms of, we'll start with Matthew Craig first. Great performance against Derby.
Oh,
It looks like he could almost elevate the side to a level that we might not have even got to with Herbie Kane in that midfield, which I think the midfield is our strongest position
Yeah.
on the pitch. But he's just added even more quality into there, hasn't he?
Oh, unbelievable quality. I mean, he came on and had a cameo, didn't it? Second half as a sub, and 2 assists. And what a ball over for goal for Kieran.
Lofthouse.
Lofthouse's header. And somebody at back post, which normally we don't have anybody deep. Jed's always saying to me, get somebody to back post. And what a good goal that was. I mean, and the other one, intricate play, 1-2, two couple of yard passes, 1-2, 1-2, and get behind and put ball over for Phillips. It's class. It's class. And I've got where is it now? Neil went to see under 18s the other night, Friday night, and he had a chat with Grant McCann, and Grant McCann says that'll be some midfield along with Connell and Phillips. That's good coming from Grant McCann, because Grant McCann had him last season on loan at Donny, and Donny fans were raving over this young kid. So I think he's going to probably start Friday.
Interesting. Tom, in terms of what I'm sure, if memory serves right, that Craig signed for Derby, not Derby, sorry, for Donny in January. And I think from that point is when Donny went on that stupid run of, were it 20 games without a loss, or 20, it was something silly, like they basically went from relegation zone to top 6. So you can't just pin all that either on Craig coming in and sort of bringing it all together. I think everything sort of clicked like it did for us in that 2016 season, but we could then attribute that to it being, Adam Amell came in and we got a bit better, and it was just sort of that final little piece. Do you reckon he's sort of that kind of player that we can turn to in the big moments, or do you think he's more of a facilitator to allow others to flourish as well? Because obviously he can play in that holding role, which then it does open up the fact of we can have Connell further up the pitch in a position we've not really seen him in any time at Barnsley, of somewhere being a little bit higher up the pitch and being a little bit more creative in them areas.
I'm hoping it's going to be a bit of a fluid midfield, and possibly Luca and Craig swapping positions. So at some points in a game, Luca being more defensive and Craig pushing further up the pitch and creating chances, and then the other way around. I mean, he were only on 20 minutes against Derby, 2 assists, and he looked a different class, to be honest with you. He looked fantastic. So if that's our starting midfield, a Phillips, Connell, and Craig, it's definitely a top 6 midfield. That it is brilliant, and we banged on about Kane last year and year before, but I thought he was quite ponderous on ball at times. He'd want 3, 4, 5 touches when one would do, and Craig didn't seem to be ponderous on the ball against Derby. It was, I've got it right. How can I get it forward? How can I create something? Even when he was slightly deeper. So I think he's a fantastic signing. To be honest with you, I think it's a great bit of business from the club. Yeah, it's only a loan, but Tottenham aren't going to let him go either. Do you know what I mean? Not.
Yeah, have a word.
I
can ask.
haven't got enough money.
We can ask.
I've got Tottenham money.
We've just hosted
money.
boxing now. We'll be minted.
Yeah.
So sold out of Madry. So there's some money coming in somewhere.
£6.50 a pint. How much?
Exactly.
How much? £6.50 a pint. How much?
£6.50. That's milked it there.
Yeah.
That's Craig on a permanent or £5 million deal. Never seen one. Jane, there's one player there that we've not spoke about in terms of that midfield three of Connor. And we're looking at midfield now. We're looking at Craig, Phillips, Luke O'Connell. We're not even speaking about Connor necessarily being a part of it.
Are you trying to say that I'm a fan? You're trying to say that I'm a fan of Connor, aren't you? Might be a little bit of a fan. Might have a little bit of a fan thing for him. But obviously, it's Connor. I mean, come on. He's one of probably the best midfielder we've ever seen at Oakwell. I mean, yeah, he gets the ball, you get excited, don't you? You know, something's going to happen. So, as you're quite right, Josh, midfield has always been Barnsley's strength area. I think that's just as a club who we are. It's never been the strikers, has it? We've always struggled with strikers. Defence has always been a little bit wavy with us. Sometimes we've had a year we've had a fantastic, good solid defence, and then other years you're like, what is happening in defence? What is happening? Whereas midfield has always been quite staple for Barnsley, and I think that's where we tend to buy for, because you can get a decent midfielder for somewhere in our price budget, whereas you get a fantastic striker or a fantastic defender, you're talking money. Whereas midfielders, tend to be, they're not as rare because of and then them certain skill sets, your John Stones, your strikers of that time, they have a certain skill set that can only be in one area, but because of that skill set, they cost more.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas midfielders, they're not 10 a penny, but it's more of a skill set that a lot of footballers can pick up. So that's where we tend to buy young, develop, move on, make money. That's how we survive as a club, and we have to accept that. That is us, and that's how we keep going. But our midfield looks quite exciting this season. Got to say.
It certainly does. It certainly does. And also, left wing back's now sorted.
Yeah.
With a sign of, is it Georgie Gent or Georgie Gent?
Gent, 20-year-old from Blackburn Rovers. What is it? A 3-year deal with options for a further deal, which, as sporting director Mladen Somers says, they watched Georgie at Motherwell a lot last season. He scored 2 goals, generating 5 assists. And what he says is a top prospect for the future. Now, he said as well that he also, on Tuesday, hoping he's going to step straight in. So are we going to see him? I'm hoping so, because it's an area where we're weak at, aren't we? So you'd think he's going to come in at 20-year-old and start. So I think it's a good signing. Another signing. So it's slowly progressing to get a squad ready to fight for automatic promotion.
Yeah, I agree.
Unlike a certain Gab Sutton, who's got us down in 17th. I've got to say my piece, in 17th. I don't know what tablets he's taking, but I've no idea, but hey, come on, Gab. 17th, I need a shirt.
You'll just be after that shit then. So, it is a good signing in terms of when you look at it on face value of a young lad who's been playing senior football previously, and sort of looking at the reaction from Motherwell fans saying, yeah, it was great up here for us. And then you look at Blackburn, who I can't believe we're moving him on necessarily, because they thought he'd have a part to play in their side this season. It seems like Blackburn have sort of held up this deal because they weren't too sure where he sits in terms of their plan. So it does seem like he was almost on the cusp of being a player in the Championship necessarily. It just depends on what level of it being first choice, first team, which I don't think it necessarily was. The fact they moved him on to someone that might have been able to step in if they needed someone or their injury necessarily to sort of cover and then go back to where he is. Because there's still always that question mark when someone's young and 20-year-old. But the amount of he's already been bedded into the men's game a little bit through Motherwell, and I think the fact that Blackburn fans are disappointed he's gone looks good for us.
Yeah, he seemed like a really good signing. Apparently really good going forward. Loves to get the ball into the box. It looks like we're going to be really attacking this year and try and push down both wings and get as many balls into the box as possible. Don't know what he's like defensively because there's not been a lot of talk about that. It's more about his attacking prowess than anything else. We were desperate for a left wing back. So I think great signing, and the fact that their fans are upset that he's gone, it shows that he's good. You'd have probably thought that they might have tried loaning him out, but he only had a year left on his contract. So I think if he's not signing, something like we did with Styles, that they obviously just needed to cash in on him. But the rumours are it's only 200,000, which seems very cheap. So if it is that's fantastic business from the club. But I think it also means that we gave up on, is it Longello? It sounded like everything was pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered between the clubs, but just couldn't sign anything on personal terms. But I feel I'm quite happy about that because Birmingham fans wanted him out the door, so it doesn't sound like he was the one, and hopefully Georgie Gent is.
Yeah, certainly. It's a good point Tom's raised there, Jane. Because obviously there were two players after Emmanuel Longello and then also Georgie Gent, and Mladden's Crown said we decided to focus on Georgie Gent, but we had to wait for Blackburn to make a decision. So whilst we're doing that, we went and set up another deal, sort of just in case they decided that they weren't selling anymore.
Yeah.
Which I like that proactiveness.
Yeah, I do.
Of it, of like, if that didn't work, we've got this lined up.
Yeah.
And it seems like Mladden Scranton said Georgie Gent was the top target. We've gone and got him. There we are. So it seems like, as much as it is annoying we're having to wait to sign these players and bring them in, because obviously everyone would love it if we could sign all this team by 1st of July and then we're off.
Oh, yeah,
we've got pre-season. But it's good that we're getting these top targets, which we are after.
Yes. I like the way you're thinking there, Josh, because I'm thinking the same. So as frustrating it is for us, we don't see the business side of things. So they're obviously looking, which is what we've been wanting them to do. They're looking further down that line. They're looking at future. They're taking it seriously. They're saying, right, so what are the goals? But I'm getting, what are the goals we're wanting to achieve? Where do we want to sit this season? What is our aim for this football club? They're taking our club serious. That's exactly, as fans, what we want. It's longevity. It's not the quick fix here and now. It's not we best sign them because fans are getting frustrated. They are bothered about us, but we are not the main focus. The main focus is the club. End of the day, they're there to run a business. But they've also clearly got a business head on them, but a need and the want to be the best that we can be as a club. I think they're wanting promotion, personally, this year. We've had a couple of dry seasons, haven't we? Where there's been sort of hope and then let down. Where we've been signings that have been a bit meh. They've gone for people and they've not been what they expected. So it makes me wonder if they're doing things with a little more caution, taking a little more time, like you say, having backup plans just in case the one they want don't work out, and just being a little bit more sensible about things.
Yeah.
Which I like. Yeah.
It does seem like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel, especially last season, when you look at the players that we signed, like no disrespect to Lapata and Jack Shepherd, but you're asking
Yeah, I
non
know.
players to come and step up to make such a big jump, and then
Yes.
Lapata and Jack Shepherd featured so much in that first month of August and September because we were so light at centre half, whereas now
Yeah.
we've got almost a riches of quality in terms of you've got Matt
Yes.
Roberts, you've got Donovan Pines, you've got MDG, you've got Josh Earl that we can rotate through and actually play before you even get to Lapata and Jack Shepherd, which
Yeah.
just a note on Jack Shepherd, new deal, another 2 years, loaned out to Bradford City.
Yeah.
Option an extra year. So good to see that the club have committed to Jack Shepherd
Yes.
and his development.
Yes.
And only gone down to League Two as well, which because he went on loan to Cheltenham last season, low end League One. I think Bradford looks like they're gonna have a bash this season.
Yeah, they look
in
decent, don't they,
promotion.
Bradford?
So good luck to Jack on his loan there.
Absolutely.
Tom, prediction. Where do you think we'll finish? So we'll finish on where do you think we'll finish, and what areas do you still think we need to sign players in? Which I'm pretty sure I know what all three are going to say,
Right.
but we'll see. And if you want me to help, Tom, I can tell you exactly what you predicted. If you can't remember,
I can't remember. Well, I can remember one particular prediction.
In fact, no, I will tell you exactly where you've predicted us to finish.
Oh, I know exactly where I predicted us to
that's
finish.
it. Just
I've been
where we
drinking that
finished.
night.
Just where we finished.
Just where we finished.
Yeah.
I said first. I think I might have been drinking that night.
Really?
Not enough, clearly.
But
Not like you.
I think Clark's a really good fit. I know Gab doesn't, but I think he's a really good fit for us. It's the motivation side of it for me. He I don't want to like compare him to Duff too much, but it was you have to work to get into my team. You have to work. I will not accept laziness. I will not accept any excuses. You work or you're out. And he said like there's players that are going to fall by the wayside in this process. So it was that really I think that that motivated me because I feel that we're going to attack a lot more, and we scored a lot of goals last season. As defence were terrible.
Yeah.
But we scored a lot of goals. And I know we've lost 18 with Cole going, but it realistically it was one after January. You know, he just didn't score, and obviously McAtee is going to be a big miss. But I am hoping we get a lower end Premier League or a higher end Championship youth player through the door on loan. You know, like a McAtee. I mean, it's Joe Taylor is the man I particularly want, who was
just alongside rest of League One and Championship, I think.
Yeah, I can dream. But yeah, he were on loan at Lincoln last year. He was fantastic. We've got ties with Luton as well. They owe us a few favours, so
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm sure Madden could get on phone to him and sort of get into the ribs. But I think there's goals there, and I think there's goals in his midfield. So, and I feel as defence is a lot stronger than what a starting point was last year. And I feel, I don't want to sound disrespectful to a lot of teams, but I feel his run right at the beginning of the season is fairly easy. There's quite a lot of what I would class as lower end teams in that league, in our league, that we face. So I think we could gain a few points and gain momentum. And hopefully by the time the transfer window shuts, we have signed 2 strikers, because that is the area that I feel that we are desperate for. But if it is only 1 striker, it's not the end of the world. But I will prefer 2 of real quality, to be fair. But I'm hoping, and it might just be hope more than anything else, Max Watters, whatever is how you pronounce his second name. bags a few this year, because I didn't think it looked awful, but he just never seemed to get into those positions, and I just he just didn't seem to run. But against Derby the other day, he did more running in fact for the first 5 minutes than I think he did in the entire season. So I'm hoping he gets into positions, he bags a few, he gets a bit of confidence, and he kickstarts his Barnsley career, and he changes a few minds. But we'll see.
I think as well on Waters, I'm sure at the start of the season he had the best assist to minutes ratio, because he just kept, even though he weren't in them positions, he kept facilitating goals as being sort of the last pass to play players in, which is in that creative position, is in that advanced position to go and do that. It's just that everyone's judged on goals. The same as Aidan Marsh. I'm sure Aidan Marsh had best goals to minutes ratio and then got loaned out to York. At the point last season, which I always found a little bit weird, that he'd contributed so much and then just got shipped out to non-league, of sort of making that impact, which was nice to see. I agree with the strikers. I think the sticking point's Fabio, to be honest. Of what do we want to do with him? Do we want to play him sort of week in, week out? I think if so, then it'll be one striker. If we don't think, not that we're not going to commit to his development, but if we don't think he's ready for the here and now, I think it'll be two.
And he's going to be out for a while, isn't he? Because he dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah, which was very unfortunate. It was. Al, where do you think we'll finish, and where do you think we need to improve? If you want, I can help you, because I've got the sheet up here of where you think we'll finish.
I've got my 6. Don't worry. I've got Birmingham top.
Oh no, just do us. Just do us. We'll do the full show about them.
Third. We'll just drop short or automatic. And to be honest, another keeper for me, because what I saw against Derby, it's a weak position for us. So we've got to strengthen, for me, in that area. That's a must before Friday. We've got to get a keeper in who commands probably 6'2", 6'3", even taller than that. So whether that happens or not, I don't know, but fingers crossed it does. And then we need a 15 to 20 goal a season striker. That's his downfall. I think in every other department we're solid.
Just on that, Jackson Smith is 6'3", and I'd like to just argue a little bit with you, because I thought he commanded his area against Derby really well. He came and punched in a really crowded box from a corner, and he swept up at the back, allowing us to push forward quite a bit, which Killip tried to replicate, completely made a hash of it, missed the ball, and then they scored their third. So there were a few times I thought Smith did really well. I think it was their first goal. He actually made the save, and it bounced straight out to
Lang.
I can't think of his name. Derby player anyway, on the edge of the box, and he put it in back at net. So I'm not too worried about a keeper, but definitely a striker. He's got to be on it.
In terms of keeper, Al, would you want someone to come in that's a first choice, or would you want someone just to provide a little bit of competition for, say, Jackson Smith?
I want a first choice, somebody who we can rely upon. And if rumours are right, there's rumours about looking for a lad from Estonian international from Ardsley. That's what a young lad told me last night. Any truth in this happening? So I don't know if it's right or not, but let's see. As I say, I think we need a keeper who's commanding. As I said, Killip other night were unreal. I mean, crikey, he were faster up starting blocks than Linford Christie, but missed ball.
He did most. To be fair, he did motor up to that ball. I'll give him that. It was just he just made the decision a little bit too late. I've been there. It's a horrible feeling. It's just one of them you can't fix. Jane, where do you think we'll finish this season?
Oh, I'm sitting with Al, fourth or fifth. I think we're going to be just outside that automatic. I think we're going to be possibly another trip to Wembley.
Oh,
We love Wembley, don't we? Us at
expensive
Reds.
day.
We love a good Wembley trip.
Start saving up now, I'll take.
I know. They're more than £6.50 a pint up there. So I reckon 4th or 5th. And as always, I'm a lass in a Barnsley shirt. It's always going to be a striker. It's every season. We may as well just every season just go, any strikers? it just is, isn't it? It's just who we are. I'm hoping Hayden gets a bit more game time this year. Gilo is obviously, we know he's a quality player. We've seen him come through academy. We know what he's capable of and what he's going to be capable of. It's a shame, for now he's injured, but I'm sure they'll soon get to top of that. But I'm in agreement. We probably could do with looking for a youth team from bottom Premiership, top at Champions League, a youth player that is coming through ranks to bring him on. That's going to be top of League One quality, but it'll give him that push to develop him as a player. I think that's best we can hope for. We're never going to sign it. Let's be honest. We're never going, unless we just drop on. We're never going to sign, the best quality strikers. But it's always going to be strikers that we need. The midfield and defence look good. I mean, I'm a big fan of Mark Roberts. Obviously, we all are. Him coming back has been absolutely brilliant. Conor Oran coming back has been brilliant. Couple of good signings. Maybe start looking, like I said, looking for a youth to bring through, as a striker. And let's get him developed and let's get some goals, back at net.
And I think that's more or less where everyone sits in terms of that striker, just to replace Devante. But
yeah,
I would say on that, we know Devante didn't score post February. I think was his last goal in February. Before that, he got an hat-trick against Port Vale. So you're looking at 4 goals there have gone. He got 14 in that period, which is probably about a goal every 1.2 of a game. Which I don't think necessarily. It's not like we're asking for a world-class striker. I think if someone
he's
comes
not
in that
cracking
can
flags,
score,
is he?
it's
not.
We get someone comes in that can score 10 or 12. Max Waters contributes. We know Adam Phillips can get into double figures as well. And even Lofthouse at right. If we've got as right wing backs and left wing backs, if it's O'Keefe, Cotter, Gent, or if O'Keefe plays on the left-hand side, I think they'll contribute a lot more this season. So I think we can probably plug the gaps, maybe with the players we've got. Cosgrove looks hungry against Bolton. It looked like a different man against Bolton as well. So it's going to certainly be an interesting season. And Jane, you've got something to round us off with.
Yes. So I wanted to finish the show. Obviously, I started with a big hello. Saying thank you to everybody, for all the Barnsley fans for being so patient with me over the last 15 months. But I want to say a massive thank you to Callum Simpson and to Barnsley FC for what they did for the fans last night, and also what they've done for the sport of boxing. It's going to be absolutely massive for the town now and the promotion of boxing in this town and for the kids. But also there were 2 female, boxing matches last night. Now, I think as a woman, boxing is fantastic. We know there's plenty of women with this shirt on that go to Oakwell week in, week out that come on this show. But boxing is something that is very male dominated, as is football. But as from a woman who has taken up learning the skills of boxing, last night was quite special for me to see 2 live female matches. Was absolutely brilliant. So I think this is going to promote boxing and boxing gyms like that one that I go to at Backamere in a massive, massive way. So there's a lot of boxing gyms out there, guys. There's a lot of gyms that promote this stuff. That one that I go to, at Toned, he's a big Barnsley fan. It's absolutely brilliant. So get kids, men, women, get out there. Get if you love your football, if you love your sport, you love your boxing, get out there, get that skill learned. But thank you so much to Callum and to Barnsley FC for what you did for both sports last night and what you did for this town and the gyms that are in this town. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you.
No, I think that's definitely right. Is there going to be that knock-on effect into community as well?
Yeah.
I did think at first you're going to declare yourself for the next undercard.
Absolutely not, Josh.
There were a moment then where I thought,
Oh, I can
I'd like
vouch.
to announce I'm a
No.
professional boxer.
He's got a
I'm a
cracking
lover,
punch,
me,
I'll
not
tell
a
you.
fighter. I'm not going to lie.
I had to duck several times last night next to Jane.
No, listen.
I mean, I was ducking and diving. When Callum were at ring, whoa, we're getting there. Jane.
Listen. I'm a big fan of women knowing some form of self-defense. I think it's absolutely fantastic that a woman can be out on streets and feel safe, feel like she can look after herself. It's been absolutely brilliant for me, for my confidence and everything. So I will absolutely promote any kind of defense for women, for children, for anybody, and you will know I will support fitness at any level. But I am absolutely not going to be anybody's undercard or be signing any boxing ring anytime soon at Oakwell. So you can all calm down.
Oh,
Red all over us.
Sorry.
Yeah, we could have sponsored you.
You can all nanas.
We could sponsor you. Yes, I think it's going to be great for the community in terms of that,
Brilliant.
and also, like you said, there sort of the visibility of people seeing it, especially in the flesh as well.
Absolutely.
Of people there to go and support it. So yeah, if you're interested in it, quick Google search. Tone Fitness, is it where you go, Jane?
Yeah, I go to Toned at Fernsker. He's a local bloke. He's a red. He's a Barnsley fan. Obviously, if anybody, if you're a woman or a man, and you think, well, I don't know anybody there, you'll see me there, so you'll know me. So don't worry. But for any females wanting it, and you saw them women last night, and you were like, do you know what? Won't mind trying this. Just message me. Honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done.
And there's one near me, Josh Welke being on our show, Mickey's Gym at Brampton.
Yeah.
There's plenty about.
How good is it for town, though? And
I got strength and conditioning there, and highly recommended.
Absolutely.
Even for an old gate.
Like Alan.
Have you got any to promote, Tom?
No.
Tom's gym.
It's been a while since I stepped into a gym, if I'm honest with you. I did go to Retro in Oakwell. Charlie, he's massively into his MMA and boxing.
Brilliant.
He made boxing fun when I did do it. But
good, isn't it?
It's amazing how fun it is to actually get punched in face. Honestly, sparring. It
explains a lot.
Sparring.
It explains a lot. Did you forget to put the headgear on by any chance?
To be honest with you, sparring, you don't put your headgear on.
I can tell from some stuff you sent.
When I did white collar about 5 years ago, and honestly, it was most fun I've ever had. Really, really enjoyed it, but unfortunately, lockdown came pretty much afterwards, and all the gyms shut, and I've just never been back since. So hence why I look like this. So
no, it is. I think it is like I said, Jenny. I think it'd be great for the community.
Brilliant.
That everyone can see it, and as you've all just mentioned there, multiple places to go, multiple opportunities to go and pick it up.
Charlie's a good lad. When I worked at Dearne Valley College HR, he used to work at our gym. He's a good lad.
But it's just great for town for all gyms in Barnsley, And I think, like I said, as just personally for me, as a female watching two, female undercards fighting, it was just it's a great thing for women to get into. It's absolutely brilliant. As is MMA, as is kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, all that. But yeah, just if you fancy it, go for it.
Yeah, just have a go. Just gonna have a go at it. See what happens.
Can you lose?
Exactly. What can you lose from it?
Nothing.
Right, we will be back midweek for the first preview show of the season as we welcome Mansfield to Oakwell. We'll be talking a little bit more in depth about us top 6 predictions as well, about where we think other teams will line up against us and where we're going to sort of sit within that. And yeah, it's almost here now. The season is just under a week away before it starts. Yay. Callum Simpson is victorious at Oakwell. What a fantastic start to it's been.
And I hope you've all enjoyed this knockout show.
Yes.
Oh, you've been sat
Oh,
here
mate.
all episode, haven't
Please,
you?
can we cut that out or at least bleep it?
No.
No, I'm gonna
No,
I'm gonna
because
make
that's
it
Alan,
louder.
innit?
In fact, I'm gonna repeat this bit 3 times. Valerie's knockout show. Yeah, so get your predictions down below of where you think we'll finish. Get your comments in about last night's fight as well. Love to chat to someone about that as well. And here we go, we're almost there. You Reds.
You Reds.